You ever notice how every time you switch to a new exercise, it suddenly feels better? Like some guy tells you online to curl this way, roll that way, twist your wrist here, get undressed, and the first week it feels insane. New pump, new burn, new mind-muscle connection. And then 3 weeks later, you go back to what you were doing before, and suddenly that feels better again. So you switch again, and again, and again. I used to fall into that cycle constantly. Every new movement felt like a secret weapon, and every old one felt stale. The truth is, the movement didn't magically become better. My body just wasn't fully adapted to it yet. And that's where most people get confused or they start arguing. Is the exercise actually better, or does it just feel better because it's new? Because that one question will save you months of wasted training time. So in this video, I'm going to break down why novelty boosts perceived stimulus, why real hypertrophy comes from progressive overload, not chasing random variations, and how to use variation in a way that actually grows your muscle instead of confusing you. Let's get into it. So I was at the gym doing single tricep push downs because they helped me break out of my bench plateaus and my bench press sticking point. And so I saw this guy next to me. He was like in the machine next to me, and he was doing the same thing, like single tricep push down, except like weird. He had his hand under it, like in a reverse grip instead of over it, like pushing down. It was almost like it was like a pulling motion. So I tried it and I thought it was cool. And after a couple days of doing it, I actually just returned back to what I was doing before, and it felt better. There's always a different movement and some new guy telling you to do an exercise a different way. It's cool, it's new, and sometimes you even feel it. So that's great. New weapon in the arsenal, right? But then a week later, you try what you were doing before and it somehow feels better. Then you switch again because somebody else tells you something else is better. I used to bounce around like that constantly, and I still find that a lot of fun. So how did I actually leverage this kind of fun way of trying new things to actually make my training better and make sure I got more gains? My philosophy is simple. Trick the muscle. It's not that one movement is necessarily better than another, even though sometimes that actually is true and sometimes it is better. It's actually that your body hasn't fully gotten used to it yet. When something is new, your nervous system fires differently. It hits the muscle in a slightly different way, and adaptation only happens when something is different. And so you try new stuff, of course you'll force your body to adapt, and so that's good, right? Not exactly. The real reason these movements feel better at first is because novelty can boost perceived stimulus, not necessarily real muscle fiber activation. The mind-muscle connection feels sharper because your nervous system hasn't adapted to that movement yet. And that doesn't make the exercise superior, just it makes it unfamiliar. The actual hypertrophy comes from mechanical tension, progressive overload, making sure you're having sufficient volume and recovering, and just being consistent. Variation matters, but it's really only matters when it's controlled and intentional. So how do you implement this knowledge into your actual training? Because it is pretty fun to do these things. Use novelty strategically. Bring in a new movement when you genuinely need to change, not just like every week or every couple days. Either when you've plateaued, or you've gotten fully used to the movement, or you really just need a change because it's been a while. Usually, I recommend this to be around 3 to 4 weeks. Let your body adapt long enough to actually overload it. And that brings me to the next point. Keep progressive overload at the center. No exercise will grow your muscle if you're not getting stronger at it. So keep track of the weight you use. Even if you do switch to a different variation, make sure you're doing more weight than last time, or at least matching the weight that you did last time. Progressively overload on all movements. Add an extra rep, do just more, higher weight, anything. And number 3, variation does help because, well, it's fun. It keeps motivation high. It hits the muscle in a slightly new way. But if you just think about the muscle needing long enough time to actually learn what you're doing, enough for you to actually trick it, then you'll actually make more gains. At least that's my philosophy. Tricking the muscle, you can't trick it if it doesn't already know what to expect. So number 4, rotate exercises with intention, not boredom. Do curl variations like hammer curl, dumbbell, straight bar. Each feels better when it's new, but the growth comes from tension and overload, not the novelty itself. And regardless if you're pushing yourself, there's no problem in in changing all the time, but you probably would get more gains simply by making sure you're not all over the place and you're progressively overloading. You're making sure that you're progressively overloading and getting stronger. I used to think I needed the perfect exercise, one magic curl or row that finally helps grow the muscle. But every time I switched, the new one felt better until it didn't. Once I understood that this new feeling, this new kind of burn, or the way I was doing it was just novelty and stopped chasing random variations, my progress got way more consistent and I actually knew what was actually making me progress, and I wasn't just guessing. You're not plateauing because your exercise is bad. You're plateauing because you're switching too early to ever overload anything. And so that was this video. If you'd like to join me on the Super Soldier project and actually talk with me, brainstorm ideas, and get all the resources that I've personally used to make crazy fast progress, and you want to do it too, you can join. The link is in the description. You can also leave a comment below and I will check it out. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.